I've come here to the end because I need lots more shulker boxes, because I've been farming a lot of blackstone, a lot of black wool, a lot of mud materials I will need for this massive project that I started in the last episode, creating this mountain range for a whole environment that will be themed around the Long Dark, a game that I really enjoy. And I've run out of all the shulker boxes I have, so I need to go get some. And now I have a massive amount of wool here. All these shulker boxes here are all black wool. All these shulker boxes here are blackstone from a bartering farm. So we have a lot more materials than we did in the last episode. I've spent some time farming some snow here as well. And I think we have enough, definitely enough, for what we're going to do this episode. We're going to build some more of this mountain range. I'm gonna hop into FreeCam here. So we just built this front corner in this last episode. Now I want to kind of extend this around this corner and build kind of this section right here. So that is the next part I'll do. That's what we'll do for this episode, and then maybe we'll add some more details or build something on it this episode. I'm still not precisely sure what I'm going to do. I just want to do as much as I can while I am able to, just to push and get these mountains built little by little. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump into a time lapse of me extending these mountains. And there we have another section of our mountains complete. From this side here, it looks like just some kind of chunk error has not loaded the rest of the mountains, the rest of the world there. But that's just because I did not build this part out here. I was only focused on the interior side. So let's take a look over here as we fly over this way. So then everything you can see here, I just built this episode because we had just done the corner around that side last time. And then I just built it up to here because I designed this with Axiom last episode, but I didn't give you guys too close of a look at especially the color palette. So we have black wool that kind of goes to the darkest areas. It goes to blackstone as the next darker block, and then we have mud. And then it goes to patches of cherry wood, which is, you can see it's just in little patches and strips here and there, which I chose the cherry wood because of the Long Dark game. I was looking at a lot of those cliffs, and a lot of those, you know, they have the dark grays and blacks, but then they also have little highlights of purple in there. And I didn't want anything too bright in the cliffs, but cherry wood is kind of just that perfect, like, you know, hint of purple, but still being pretty dark to match the rest of the cliffs. So I think that works pretty well. And I really like just the layered kind of tiered effect where there's just like different shelves, different layers that have like the snow resting on it with the larger snow blocks. And then there's like the little snow layers spread throughout. Let's take a look from up here. Yeah, I think that looks really good. After building this section, I've realized a large portion of my life is going to be spent right there with those snow golems, because before building this, I farmed couple double chests of snow sitting there with the shovel, and I used it all up and had to farm more as I was going. So this is going to use a lot of snow blocks. Oh, and right now also I have switched to using the vanilla clouds. I usually use the Better Clouds mod, but as you can see right now, I have lifted the clouds way up. With the Better Clouds, they want to stay right here, like right above these mountains. Let me just switch it to show you. I've turned back on the Better Clouds here. As you can see, it's barely above the top of this mountain here. It doesn't clip through the world yet, but there are some sections of these mountains that are going to be higher than this, and they would run through the clouds. And for some reason, Better Clouds is not allowing me to adjust the height of the clouds at all, so I might be switching to vanilla clouds until they get that fixed or something happens with that. Because also, I want to build a little something on these mountains I just built today, and it goes it goes a little higher, it almost touches the clouds, and I don't know if I like that too much. So we might be switching back and forth. I really, really prefer these clouds to the vanilla clouds. These are so much better, but if I can't adjust the height and it's just like flying through the middle of my terrain, it doesn't look that good. So we will see. Let me know what you guys think about that. I am going to have to clean up some of this terrain here on this like frozen lake. I do plan to make this frozen lake a kind of a feature of my terrain, but definitely this area has got to turn back into ice. There's just these random islands in the middle of ice I'm gonna have to clear up and clean up and then turn this into like a frozen lake here. But that, I don't know if I'll get to that this episode, probably in a future episode. But for right now, I am going to build what I have designed right here. It's something very small, but I think will add to it very nicely. And also I'm going to build some trees up here in a little bit. But these are all things that are kind of engineered or designed for viewing at a distance. Let me build this right here and then I will show it to you guys. Okay, I had planned to have like a cool time lapse of me building what I'm going to build here, but I'm just showing this to kind of throw this out there. If anyone can figure out what is happening with my flashback mod, this is a replay of me building this tower here, and this is at the very start, so I haven't actually built it, which you can see, like, there's nothing here, but from certain angles, a weird ghost version of stuff that I haven't even built yet in the chronology of this replay. It's like doing a weird ghost render of it. These trees are built in a completely separate flashback recording file, but they're showing up as a weird ghost render in this separate file where I am only building this right here. And if I do it from this angle, those things disappear, which is how I've done the time lapses of the mountains, just from the top down, and then it doesn't show the weird glitches. But for some reason, it keeps showing these, and it's really odd. So if anyone knows what's going on there, if you could help me out, that would be great. The other problem I'm having is, yeah, see, look, now as it actually starts to build, it renders the wrong fence types. In reality, these are mangrove and pale oak fences, but as I start to build it here in the flashback mod, it renders it as the wrong fence type. So I'm getting the wrong fence types and getting weird ghost renders of things that don't even exist yet in the world. This has made it very difficult to use flashback mod over the last couple weeks. So please, if anyone knows what is going on, please tell me. Okay, back to the video. All right, it's done. I'm just trying to get a good perspective of it. Because like I said, it is meant to be viewed from afar. There we have it right there on the mountain. It is meant to be a kind of radio or like signal tower. I think it looks pretty good from a distance. It's not meant to be something that really super draws your attention. It's not something super big or flashy, but I think it does add. And once we have our whole world filled in here, I think it'll look really nice. But it does look better from a distance like this. Because, let's see, once we get closer, you're going to see all the weirdness and the gaps in it and everything. Because there's a lot of gaps between things. Because I used these fences for the corners. And then I used the chains as kind of connecting lines between the different sides of the tower. And this chain here is meant to be like a wire or cord running up the side here. One of the main challenges with this one is trying to make a triangle in Minecraft, because it's a tower with 3 legs. But obviously, triangle's not the easiest thing to do in Minecraft. A square would be much easier. But you have this one here, and then it's like, what, 2 blocks? 1, 2, and then a diagonal, 1, 2, and then a diagonal, and then this is like 1 block diagonally between these two to kind of create a triangle. It does look more like a square right now because of this corner chain, but just ignore that. And these chains ideally are supposed to connect straight across here, but we can't do diagonal chains. So it's meant to be a triangle, and I think from a distance it works. Up close it looks a little bit more boxy, more square. There's a lot of gaps in the chains and the lines, but I think from a distance it works pretty well and kind of sells what I'm trying to do. So I am really pleased with it. Now we are going to add some trees here. And these trees are going to be very similar to these ones we did here with our train depot, but not quite the same because, again, up here on this mountain, it's all about the perspective and the scale of it viewed from down there. I had to kind of design some very simplified, smaller versions of those trees to fit up this mountain. Otherwise, the scale is not going to look right. Like the trees would look too big up on this mountain and kind of dwarf the mountain. So I had to kind of scale them down a bit because they are tall trees, but I don't want them to completely dwarf the mountain. So I'm going to build some of those trees now, and then I'll show you guys. Okay, I've added some trees now, just in that section up there near the radio tower. And again, like I said, I've really shrunk these trees down. They're shorter, and I honestly didn't really even add any branches. It's just leaf blocks around and maybe some dead branches underneath, but they don't have as much of a branch structure as the other ones, so they're simplified, smaller, and shorter, and I definitely built them just with this perspective, this direction in mind. I also really like what I did there. I tried my hand at a leaning tree, like that one that's right at the edge of the cliff there. It's kind of leaning over. As you zoom in, this part probably looks the most awkward, is that connection where it's in the trunk and it leans, but from a distance it's not quite as noticeable. It's noticeable, but it's not that bad. I think from a distance it works pretty well. Let's take a closer look. So I have some trees there and then up there. So I have a few of these broken trees, which are shorter than the other ones I made with the train depot. But you can see some of these trees even like this. It's just like, it's so small. It's very short, which as we go through all of these, you can see. This is probably one of the tallest ones, but even that, it's in general very short compared to the other ones I was building. And you can see just the very simplified leaves, not many leaves, just enough to kind of give an idea of the shape from a distance. And yeah, I think the scale works pretty well from where we were looking at it before, that the trees don't dwarf the landscape. The trees aren't like massive. This one is pretty tall. This is one of like the tallest ones, but I didn't want any of the trees to be taller than our radio tower. That was my goal. So this one is almost there, but it's not quite taller. And then this one, which was the most challenging to build, and it definitely only looks good from like the one angle at a distance all the way down there. If you look on this side, I didn't really build it with this perspective in mind because I'm not going to look at it that much from that side. Main thing is from the inside, because from here it looks like it doesn't look that good. But I hope you guys like these trees, and I hope it gives you guys some ideas of how to build your trees if you're mainly going for perspective. Because again, this is an area that it's not really where I'm meant to be walking in this environment, in this terrain I'm building. This is an area that is just going to, as I walk through this area, through this mountain range, it is only going to be viewed from a distance and add some detail as you're walking around. It's only meant to be looked at from like way down here. So I think it works. I think I got the scale and the perspective right, where you can see the silhouette of the trees and they're not too massive for the mountain or for the radio tower. Because if I did the size of trees I built near that train depot, they would all be taller than that tower. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress this episode. I know I didn't get to building that much. Okay, well, no, I built a lot. I built this whole section of the mountain. This is a lot. So I know I didn't build too much outside of that, like a build or something. It was just something small with these trees and this radio tower, but I hope you enjoyed this part. I had enough to do just with this part of the mountain I was creating. So I am out of time for today's episode. I know it may be a shorter one, but I'm hard at work at this mountain range, and little by little we will get it done. And I hope you guys stick with me as I work on this project. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.